Present, ma'am.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Yes, ma'am.
15,
Yes, ma'am.
18, 19, yes ma'am, 20, yes ma'am, 21, yes ma'am, 22, yes ma'am, 23, 24, 25, 27, yes ma'am, 28, 34, 35, yes ma'am, 37, yes ma'am, 39, 46, 48,
Yes, ma'am.
50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, yes ma'am, 57, yes ma'am, 59, yes ma'am, 60, 62, 63, 65, 66, yes ma'am, 67, yes ma'am, 68,
Yes, ma'am.
69, 70,
Yes, ma'am.
71, 72, 73, 74, yes ma'am, 75, yes ma'am, 76, yes ma'am, 77,
Yes, ma'am.
78,
Yes, ma'am.
79, yes ma'am, 80,
Yes, ma'am.
81, yes ma'am, 82,
Yes, ma'am.
83, yes ma'am, 84, yes ma'am, 85,
Yes, ma'am.
86, yes ma'am, 87, yes ma'am, 90, 91, 6, 24, 27, 2,
30.
anyone else?
2024.
1980.
19,
2018.
18.
180.
Is this your first class? Eighteen, 180.
Ma'am, 46. Ma'am, 47. Ma'am,
Can you please stop? 46 or 47?
Ma'am, 46.
46.
27. 54, ma'am.
51. 60. 60.
मैम 82 की देसी है
54. Go to web number 280. 280. first line of the poem is I felt a funeral in my brain. What is the poem number you said? 286. Do you have the poem?
So where I understand the poem, it doesn't, the number is different. Yes, okay, it has the next time. And also when, because there was this poem, and also I said that I think it's a different edition.
So different editions. So the edition I am quoting is the normal. Roti, even previous was there was a line which was different. Like all the way someone write that line was different. Okay, so those who have a different poem number, the first line of the poem is I felt a funeral in my brain. That's the poem. So if you compare these two poems, I tasted liquor never brewed and I felt a funeral in my brain, structurally, there are some structural similarities. Again, here you will find the use of quatrains. There are 5 stanzas in this poem. There are 5 quatrains, and you will find the same rhyme here, where the second line of each stanza rhymes with the fourth line. And again, you will find the common feature of Stevenson's poems, the use of dashes. You will find lots of dashes here in this poem also. So the poem starts with I felt a funeral, and then there is a comma, followed by comma. Like probably the speaker intentionally wanted to pause here, give a break. I felt a funeral, and then he or she, the speaker, kinds of explains it in my brain. So how will you feel the funeral? That's the question. If you are at a funeral, you will see what is happening here. You will see it. You will visualize it. But here our speaker is not seeing. She is feeling. She is feeling the funeral. A funeral? Whose funeral? We don't know. Is it a literal funeral? Someone is already dead, that person's funeral, or whether it is metaphoric or symbolic, we do not know. But the speaker feels a funeral. How? And then the explanation. In my brain, in her brain. So the funeral that she is seeing it or feeling it, experiencing it, it is happening in her brain, in her imagination. So probably it's not an actual funeral. She is not at someone's funeral. And then she feels the funeral in her brain and mourners to and fro. And there are mourners, the attendees, who are attending the funeral. They are moving from here and there to and fro. They are rushing. There is a movement. When she says, and mourners to and fro, there is this sense of movement, this rush, also some kind of restlessness. The mourners are not seated peacefully. They are rushing from one place to another, so kept treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. So what do you think of this speaker? About her mental state? Yes?
probably suffering from mental illness.
Mental illness? Possible? Yes, probably she's anxious.
Maybe she's visiting a doctor and explaining her mental problems. Like, I saw the funeral, but in my head, there could be a situation there.
When you will feel something, definitely that is happening in your head, in your brain. It's not an actual thing. When there is a funeral, actual funeral, you will see it. You use your eyes. But here you are not using your eyes. Definitely you are using eyes, metaphoric eyes, not the actual eyes. You are feeling it. You are imagining it. And when the difference between seeing and feeling, when you are feeling something that is more profound, more intense. If you see the funeral, there are mourners, all the attendees, the relatives, the friends, other people. Probably someone is crying, someone is trying to console the other person, the other mourner. There are people who are carrying the coffin. That is the scene that you find. But when you are feeling, you are experiencing it profoundly with all your senses. The deep passion that you find in the previous poem. The words that she used in the previous one, I taste a liquor never brewed. That same passion, that same intense feeling is here. And in that poem, that speaker seemed kind of like a rebel when she says in the last stanza that she is standing against the sun, where the seraphs and saints, they are looking at her. And here, the rebel is here, who does not conform to the rules. What she wants to do, she will do it, and she is standing against the sun. And here we find another speaker. We do not know whether this speaker is male or female, but that person, the speaker, is feeling something with that deep passion, that intense feeling. So, kept trading, all the mourners who are moving from here to there, kept trading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. Probably she is on the verge of losing her senses because of the things she is experiencing in her brain. She is not in a good state of mind. This 4 lines doesn't indicate that the person who is talking or writing this is the same person. Probably she is still sane, but she is on the verge of losing that sanity. And then second stanza, and when they all were seated, when the mourners, they all were seated, they are waiting for the service to be done. A service like a drum kept beating, and notice the repetitions. Trading, kept trading. In first stanza, third line, kept trading and trading. That's probably the sound of their footsteps and the thump on the ground. Probably that is unbearable to the speaker. She cannot tolerate or endure that sound. And here, a service, when all of them were seated, there is no sound of their footsteps, but there is another sound. The sound of a drum. The service is started, and the sound it produced, it made it like a drum. It kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And when there is this high pitch of noise, just like you did in front of the classroom. Why do you make such noise in front of the office? দূর থেকে শোনা যায়। So when there is this sound, there is no actual sound. She is imagining that sound in her mind. That there is this loud noise. It kept beating. And when there is a difference between the sound produced by man's voice and the sound produced by a drum. When there is people speaking, you will get annoyed. You will hear the noise. But when there is a drum, you will feel like the world is shaking, right? It will affect you physically. Not only your mind, but your body too. So it kept beating and beating till I thought my mind was going numb. She was feeling numb. She was unable to think anything else. Her mind wasn't working because of that noise. So the place where she is in, though it's an imaginary situation, but it has a profound impact on her body and especially on her mind. And this mind and body, these two are connected. When your mind is not working, your brain is not working, you cannot think. Definitely there will be an impact on your body. Your body will also become numb. You will be unable to move yourself from the place because you cannot think anything. And then I heard them lift a box. So the funeral, it has started, and then I heard them lift a box, probably the coffin, which carries the dead body. I heard them lift a box. Then probably the mourners, the people who are there, and creep across my soul. And when they lifted the box, the coffin, it felt to her, it felt like it crept across her soul, pierced her soul. Her soul cannot bear it. And whatever is happening around her, though it's in her mind, she's imagining it, everything has an impact on her. There is someone else who is dead, probably an imaginary person. There is this dead body, there are other mourners, they were carrying the coffin, they are lifting the box and doing the other things, beating the drums, but everything has an impact on her. It pierced her soul. With those same boots of lead, again, then space began to toll. And their boots, the loud thumps on the ground, and then space began to toll. Everything was falling apart for her. As all the heavens were a bell, and being but an air. Here the speaker is kind of dehumanizing herself. As all the heavens were a bell, this noise, all those noises, sound around her, the heavens were like a bell. There is a bell is tolling, and being but an ear. And she herself has transformed into only an ear, not a whole human being. It feels like her other organs, other parts of her body do not exist. She is only an ear because of the sound. Only the ear is working. She can only hear the sound. And I and silence, some strange race, wrecked, solitary here. So she feels like, the speaker feels like the speaker is solitary here, just like silence. There is no silence here because of all those noise. Like silence, the way silence is absent here, it doesn't exist here, the speaker also feels like she doesn't exist here. She is just an ear which can only hear the sounds. So some strange race. So the speaker and silence, they are like some strange race, non-existent, wrecked, solitary here. And then the last stanza, and then a plank in reason broke. So here is a comparison, reason, which is an idea, something abstract. She is comparing it with like wood or timber, like there is a plank in reason, it broke. Her mind is not working, her sense is not working. Probably she cannot think rationally anymore because her mind has gone numb.
Maybe she is imagining her own funeral.
Yes, probably.
That's why it's just here is
Yes, it's possible. Probably she's imagining her own funeral. But the question what? Her body or her soul? That's the question. Maybe soul. Because throughout the whole poem she is talking about her soul, her mind, her brain. And then a plank in reason broke and I dropped down and down. It's like she is falling down. Or probably she herself is entering the grave. I dropped down and down. There is this fall. Fall from grace, fall from that reason, the rationality, and hit a world at every plant. And when she was falling down, when she hits the ground, the world at every plunge, and finished knowing then. And then she finished knowing. But knowing what? Here the poem has become a little bit ambiguous. The ending. Throughout the whole poem we find certain sense of experience. She's feeling something, feeling a funeral, that something is dying, could be her soul, could be her body, could be someone else. Probably she's imagining someone else's death, but later, the last line of the poem, and finished knowing, it raises the question. Finished knowing what? What she wanted to know, or what she was trying to know. And when she was falling down, and when she hits the ground, and then she gets to know it. So know what? That's open for discussion. So probably you can think of it from different perspectives. So this knowledge she's talking about, probably it's about her existence or the meaning of existence. Because throughout the whole poem she didn't mention any kind of incident or event in her life or any action. She only describes her feelings, that this is happening in my mind, I am feeling this now. I have transformed into an ear. She can only hear the noise. And then the way this poem ends, and finished knowing them, it also kind of seems incomplete. Because after saying finished knowing, we expect something else. Finish knowing this or that, something particular. The answer she was trying to find out throughout this whole experience. And she didn't tell us what she got to know.
But perhaps he realized that he is dead at the end of this poem.
She's dead. Here she is dead. Possible, because we do not know. And probably, yes, if you talk about that death, she is physically alive. She is not dead. So, probably, she finished knowing. She realized that that is the death of her sanity. She's turning into a mad woman gradually throughout this whole process. When she started feeling that funeral, that was the beginning. She started feeling in her brain, and then she could visualize the mourners, their footsteps, that sound, that treading, that beating of the drum. Throughout this whole process, she was going numb. Her soul was going numb. She was losing her soul. She was losing her spirit, her reason, her sense. And then she and silence, they both became some strange race amidst all the noise. And when there was this last, when there is this plank in this region, it broke, and then finally she fell down. And then she finished knowing that that was the end of her sanity. It can be one interpretation.
Ma'am,
Yes.
she does not write this poem for her readers. She
Herself.
Yes. Yes.
Probably.
Probably.
Yes. You can say that probably she did not write this for her readers, because if she wrote this for her readers, she should publish it during her lifetime. So I don't know whether it was published during her lifetime or not. Only 8 or 10 poems were published when she was alive. All the poems were published after her death. So probably all the poems that she wrote, those were not for readers, not for the other people, for the outer world. Those were for herself. What she felt, what the poet actually felt about this world, about her life, her secluded life, the isolation, and that isolation, Emily Dickinson lived a very isolated life. She has only few friends. And the speaker of this poem, she is alone, she is lonely. She and silence, some strange race, red, solitary here. She is lonely and isolated, that's why probably she cannot share what she feels with other people. If she could share those with others, she could reduce that burden. But she cannot do that because she is lonely. And because of that loneliness, probably that's how her soul is dying down. And that's what she is telling us through this poem. It's possible.
Ma'am,
Yes?
maybe she is imagining her last moments of her life.
Imagining last moments of her life.
in this world, by saying that she finished knowing, and like I dropped down. So she maybe means that drop down the body in the graveyard, and then the finished knowing of the worldly life.
Yes, ma'am.
She is imagining her own death.
Only the last moment of it.
Well, it's possible, we do not know. But since she did not tell us about the state of her body, her physical appearance, we get to know about the state of her mind. We can relate it more to the death of her soul more than her body. And when your soul will die, there will be no meaning of life. You will lose all the meanings. Life will be meaningless. Soul is what keeps the body alive. And this whole poem is very sensuous. You have to feel. When you read the poem, you will feel just like the speaker, the way the speaker felt. If you cannot feel in the same way, you will not understand the intensity of her feelings. So anything else? Any other thoughts?
Maybe she's wondering what her actual funeral would be like, and she's thinking what it would be like if she could experience it. And she says, when I dropped down, it was an act of lowering her coffin on the ground, and it finished, knowing we wonder what it was, but then she reveals that she's talking about the time when she finished knowing period, knowing everything.
Okay, so is she preparing herself for the actual death by imagining the funeral in her brain, in her mind?
There comes a moment when she cannot know anymore. When she's talking about that.
Yes, the end of all knowledge. That is also possible. When the body will actually hit the ground, the grave, and then that is the end for all kind of knowledge. Whatever knowledge the speaker has gathered in his or her life, that is the end. You will finish knowing everything. It's also possible, probably that's why it seems incomplete. Probably you are trying to know something, you couldn't finish it. Just like the poem. It will also remain incomplete. Yes?
Why was there a drum playing in the cemetery?
Yes?
Why was there a drum
আরে
playing
ঘাস
in
কেন?
the cemetery?
Yeah. She's talking about the sound. Because of that sound, the sound, her mind has become numb. She cannot hear that sound.
And why?
Sound of the drum.
Why is there the sound of drum and speaker?
She's imagining it.
আচ্ছা
Because of all these sounds, she cannot
এরপরে ইয়ার
concentrate.
ক্লাস PM এর
She's using of herself. But why? Only Emily Dickinson can answer your question. Why exactly drums. Why not the other sounds? It is part of the procession, the ritual.
As she was she would prefer to be but she wouldn't have any agency how we were
কি তার কি স্কিপ করো টাইম না 10 সেকেন্ড এড স্কিপ করো এড স্কিপ
The sound that she's imagining is not that loud, but in her mind seems really loud. It feels like beating of the heart. This is unbearable. Okay, just think about this. You are sitting there listening to me. If you don't enjoy the class, my voice will sound like a drum. Because it is unbearable to you. Even if I have a mild voice, it will sound like a drum. Because you don't hear it. You can endure it, tolerate it. That's why would not know the extent of the sound, but still feels like a drum. The sound feels like there is a drum beating and beating. She cannot stay there, but probably for some reason she's forced to stay there. She cannot feel the
প্রতিদিন একটু 11
Or it's also possible that probably she is talking about her life experience, the life she lived or she was living. The poet. If we think that whatever the speaker is experiencing or saying here is a reflection of the poet's experience, probably she is indirectly talking about her life, the life she is living. Probably it was unbearable. The presence of people, their voice, the other sounds. She couldn't tolerate that. And because of those, she was descending into madness. She was losing that sense. And here, through this poem, she's not telling the readers, she's just narrating what is happening to her.
There are lots of people in the station away, the metro, the blurred spaces, but she has not taken it. There are aesthetic blurred spaces, not recognized. There is no setting of isolation.
Isolation is there.
There are so many different people.
She cannot make the connection. That connection is lost. That's why everything feels unbearable. There is no connection, she is isolated. Isolation is there. Isolated life. That's why she is experiencing it. Probably the death of her social life. Our time is over.
I'm 11.
65. 50. 65. 63.
আমার